Hey, it's Andrea. Before I begin, if you're someone who believes in karma, in justice, in the universe having a long memory, make sure you subscribe. Because what I'm about to tell you is the kind of story that still makes my chest tight when I think about it. I thought I'd finally found real love, the kind poets write about, the kind that makes you believe in fate. But what I didn't know, what I couldn't have known, was that I wasn't his soulmate. I was just a passport to him. This is the story of how I was used for a green card, and how karma eventually struck harder than I ever could have. It's going to hurt to tell this, but I need to. So let's begin. I met him on a Tuesday. Isn't that funny? How life-changing moments happen on the most ordinary days. I was at a coffee shop near the university, one of those indie places with mismatched chairs and local art on the walls. I was grading papers, exhausted, running on my third espresso, when he walked in. His name was Matteo. Dark hair, warm brown eyes, an accent that made every word sound like poetry. Spanish, with just enough English to make him seem vulnerable, approachable, real. He ordered in broken English, stumbling over medium and to go, and the barista was getting impatient. I don't know why, but I stepped in, helped him order. He smiled at me like I'd just saved his life. "Thank you," he said. "You are very kind." That smile, God, that smile. We talked for 20 minutes, then an hour. He told me he'd just moved here from Argentina, came on a work visa, hoping to build a better life. He was a graphic designer, he said. Talented, but struggling. He talked about his family back home, his mother who was sick, his dreams of making something of himself here. I felt seen, needed, like I had something to offer. I'd been single for 2 years at that point. 2 long, lonely years after a bad breakup that left me feeling like I'd never be enough for anyone. My friends had moved on, marriages, babies, careers. I was the one still figuring it out. And here was Matteo, looking at me like I was the only person in the room. We exchanged numbers. He texted me that night. "Thank you for today, Andrea. You made me feel less alone." I melted. Our first date was a week later. He took me to this tiny Argentinian restaurant in a neighborhood I'd never been to. He ordered for us in Spanish, translating everything with this boyish excitement. He told me about his childhood, about growing up poor but loved, about his father teaching him to draw. He asked about me, really asked. What did I want? What scared me? What made me happy? I told him things I hadn't told anyone, about my fear of ending up alone, about how I felt invisible sometimes, like I was just going through the motions. He reached across the table and took my hand. "You are not invisible to me," he said. I cried in my car on the way home, happy tears, because I thought I'd finally found someone who got it, who got me. We fell fast. 3 months in, he'd moved some things into my apartment. 6 months in, he was calling me his future. He'd hold me at night and whisper plans about the life we'd build, the trips we'd take, the home we'd make together. He met my family at Thanksgiving. My mom adored him. My dad was quieter, watchful. "He's charming," Dad said to me in the kitchen. "But Andrea, what do you really know about him?" I laughed it off. "Dad, I know enough. He's a good person." My dad just nodded, didn't push, but I saw the look. I ignored it. My best friend, Jenna, was more direct. "Babe, I love that you're happy," she said over wine one night. "But doesn't it feel fast? Like he's already talking about marriage and he's only been here a few months." "Some people just know," I said, defensive. "When it's right, it's right." She didn't say anything else, but her silence said enough. I told myself they were just being overprotective, cynical. They didn't understand what we had. But looking back, the signs were already there. Little things, small inconsistencies. He'd say he was working late, but his location would show him somewhere else. He'd get vague when I asked about his job. He'd dodge questions about his visa status, saying it was complicated and he didn't want to burden me. Once, his phone buzzed on the counter, and I saw a message in Spanish from someone named Carla. Did you ask her yet? When I asked who Carla was, he said she was his cousin. I didn't think twice about it. I should have. Because what I didn't know, what I couldn't see yet, was that every single moment, every whispered promise, every gentle touch, was part of a script, and I was nothing more than his golden ticket. He proposed on a rooftop in the city, under string lights and a sky full of stars. It was perfect, choreographed. He got down on one knee, his voice shaking, and told me I'd saved him, that I was his home now. I said yes before he even finished asking. We got married 3 months later. Small ceremony, just close family and friends. I wore a simple white dress. He cried during his vows. "You are my everything," he said. "I will spend my life making you happy." I believed him. The paperwork started almost immediately. At first, I didn't think much of it. Of course we needed to file for his adjustment of status. He was here on a work visa, and now we were married. It made sense. He was anxious about it, though. Really anxious. "What if they deny me?" he'd say, pacing the apartment. "What if they think it's fake? What if they send me back?" I'd hold him, reassure him. "It's not fake. We're married. They'll see that." We hired an immigration lawyer, filed the I-130, the I-485. I signed affidavits, submitted bank statements, photos, lease agreements, proof of our bona fide marriage. The lawyer asked us questions: how we met, how we fell in love, what our daily life looked like. Mateo answered perfectly. Every detail aligned, every story checked out. I was so proud of us. During the waiting period, he was perfect, attentive, affectionate. He'd make me breakfast, leave little notes around the apartment, plan surprise date nights. He'd hold me at night and say, "I'm so lucky. I don't deserve you." I'd kiss him and say, "Yes, you do." But somewhere deep down, in a place I didn't want to acknowledge, I started noticing things. He was on his phone more, a lot more. He'd step outside to take calls, speaking rapid Spanish I couldn't follow. He'd get irritated when I asked questions, snap at me over small things. "I'm just stressed," he'd say. "The waiting is killing me." I got it. The immigration process is brutal. So I gave him space. I stopped asking. I told myself it was temporary, that once his green card came through, everything would go back to normal. The approval letter arrived on a Thursday. I was at work when he called me, screaming with joy. "We got it! Andrea, we got it! I'm approved!" I cried. Happy, relieved tears. I left work early, bought champagne, came home ready to celebrate. He was in the bedroom when I walked in, on the phone. He didn't hear me come in. I stood in the hallway, holding the champagne, listening. He was speaking Spanish, fast and excited. I caught a few words. My Spanish wasn't great, but I knew enough. "Sí, sí, ya está. Ya tengo todo. 2 años y soy libre." Yes, yes, it's done. I have everything. 2 years, and I'm free. My stomach dropped. I walked into the room. He turned, saw me, and his face went pale for just a second. Then he smiled, wide and bright. "Mi amor, you're home." I forced a smile, set down the champagne. "Who were you talking to?" "My brother," he said quickly. "I was telling him the good news." I nodded, didn't push. But that night, lying next to him in the dark, I couldn't sleep. 2 years, and I'm free. What did that mean? Over the next few weeks, things changed. Subtly at first, then unmistakably. He stopped touching me, stopped kissing me goodnight. He'd come to bed late after I was already asleep and leave before I woke up. He was distant, cold. I tried to talk to him. "Mateo, is everything okay? You seem different." "I'm fine," he'd say, not looking up from his phone. "Just busy." Busy with what? Work. But he wasn't working more. He was out more. With friends I'd never met, at places he wouldn't name. I started feeling crazy, like I was imagining things, but I wasn't. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. Mateo, do you even want to be here? He looked at me like I was being dramatic. What are you talking about? You don't touch me. You barely talk to me. It's like you're already gone. He sighed, ran a hand through his hair. Andrea, you're overthinking. I'm just adjusting. This is a big change for me. It's been 6 months since the approval, I said, my voice breaking. When does the adjustment end? He didn't answer. He just walked out of the room. I started second-guessing everything. Was I being paranoid? Needy? Was this just what marriage looked like after the honeymoon phase? I called Jenna. He's pulling away, I told her. And I don't know why. She was quiet for a moment. Andrea, do you think he married you for the green card? I laughed. It sounded hollow. No, that's insane. He loves me. Does he? She asked gently. I hung up, but her words haunted me, and late at night, when Mateo was asleep beside me, or more often when he wasn't there at all, I'd lie awake and wonder, what if she's right? What if none of it was real? The truth came on a Sunday morning. I woke up to an empty bed. Again. Mateo's phone was on the nightstand, charging, unlocked. I'd never gone through his phone before. I didn't believe in that. I believed in trust. But that morning, something in me broke. I picked it up. His messages were open, WhatsApp, a group chat in Spanish. I scrolled, and my entire world shattered. The messages were from months ago. Long before the green card approval, long before the proposal. One message from someone named Diego. Hermano, you really gonna marry her? Mateo's response. Es la única manera. She's perfect, lonely, desperate, stable job, easy. Another message from Carla, the cousin. How much longer are you gonna pretend, Mateo? 2 years minimum. Then I file for removal of conditions and I'm free. I can do 2 years. Diego. You're cold, man. She really thinks you love her. Mateo. She thinks what I need her to think. I dropped the phone. My hands were shaking. My chest was tight. I couldn't breathe. I ran to the bathroom and vomited. Every moment replayed in my head. Every I love you. Every kiss. Every promise. You are my everything. Lies. All of it. Every single word. I sat on the bathroom floor for I don't know how long. Eventually, I heard the front door open. Mateo was home. I walked out, slowly, calmly. He was in the kitchen, making coffee, scrolling through his phone. Morning, he said, not looking up. I stood in the doorway. Who's Diego? I asked. He froze, just for a second. Then he turned, smile in place. A friend from back home. Why? Because I read your messages. The smile faded. Silence. Andrea, don't, I said, my voice shaking. Don't you dare lie to me right now. He set his phone down, sighed like I was being inconvenient. You went through my phone? You used me, I said, my voice breaking, for a green card. You never loved me. He didn't deny it. He just stared at me. Say something, I whispered. He shrugged. What do you want me to say, Andrea? That I'm sorry? Fine, I'm sorry. But this is how the world works. People do what they have to do. I felt like I'd been punched. I loved you, I said, tears streaming down my face. I would have done anything for you. I know, he said flatly. That's why it worked. I don't remember what happened next. I think I screamed, or maybe I just stood there silent, while my heart ripped in half. He walked past me, grabbed his jacket. I'm going out, he said. We'll talk later. Don't come back, I whispered. He stopped at the door, looked back. This is my home too, Andrea. Legally. You can't kick me out. And then he left. I collapsed, literally. Fell to my knees in the middle of the living room and sobbed. Not pretty crying. Ugly, guttural, soul-crushing sobs. Because I wasn't just heartbroken. I was humiliated. I'd been played, manipulated, used like a tool. And the worst part? I'd helped him do it. I'd signed the papers, vouched for him, believed every lie. I was a fool. Jenna came over that night. I'd called her, barely coherent, and she dropped everything. She held me while I cried, didn't say, "I told you so," just held me. "What do I do?" I asked her. "You leave him," she said firmly. "I can't," I whispered. "Not yet. I need him to pay for this. I need justice." Jenna looked at me, worried. "Andrea, the best revenge is walking away. Don't let him take any more from you." But I couldn't. Not yet. Because walking away would mean he won, and I wasn't ready to let him win. Mateo came home 3 days later. I'd spent those 3 days in a fog. I barely ate, barely slept. I just sat with my rage, my grief, letting it consume me. When he walked in, acting like nothing had happened, something in me snapped. "We need to talk," I said. He sighed. "Andrea, I don't have time for drama right now." "Drama?" I laughed. It sounded hollow, broken. "You destroyed my life, and you think I'm being dramatic?" He set his bag down, crossed his arms. "What do you want me to say?" "I want the truth," I said, my voice steady now, calm, all of it. "Did you ever love me, even a little?" He looked at me for a long moment. Then he shook his head. "No." The room spun. "Why me?" I whispered. "You were perfect," he said simply. "Lonely, kind, stable income, no red flags, and you fell fast. It was easy." "Easy," I repeated, numb. "Yeah," he said, like it was obvious. "Look, I needed papers. You needed someone to love you. We both got what we wanted." "I wanted a real marriage," I said, my voice rising. "I wanted a partner. Someone who actually gave a damn about me." He shrugged again. That damn shrug. "Life's not a fairy tale, Andrea. Grow up." I wanted to scream, to throw something, to hurt him the way he'd hurt me, but instead, I just stared at him. "You're a monster," I said quietly. He laughed, actually laughed. "I'm a survivor," he said. "You wouldn't understand. You've had everything handed to you." "I gave you everything," I shot back. "My home, my money, my trust. And you threw it away like it was nothing." "Because it was nothing," he said coldly. "You were a means to an end. And now I'm here legally. So, thank you." I lost it. "Get out," I said, my voice shaking with rage. "Get out of my house. Now." "No," he said simply. "What?" "This is legally my residence," he said, smirking now. "I'm on the lease. You can't just kick me out." "Then I'll call the police." "And tell them what?" he said, stepping closer. "That your husband won't leave? They'll laugh at you. We're married, Andrea. We have shared assets, shared accounts. I have rights." I felt sick. "I'll divorce you," I said. "Go ahead," he said. "But you know what happens then, right? I'll fight you for half of everything. This apartment, half mine. Your savings, half mine. And it'll take months, maybe years, and I'll be here the entire time." He leaned in close. "You can't get rid of me, Andrea. You're stuck with me." I don't remember what I did next. I think I just stood there, frozen, while he walked to the bedroom and shut the door. I heard him lock it. He was locking me out of my own bedroom. I sank onto the couch, trembling. He was right. He had rights. He had legal status. He had power over me now, and there was nothing I could do. Or so I thought. The next 2 weeks were hell. Mateo stayed, made himself comfortable, acted like I didn't exist. He'd bring people over, friends I'd never met, women whose names I didn't know. They'd laugh and drink in my living room while I hid in the guest room. He drained our joint account, took my car without asking, ate my food. And every time I tried to confront him, he'd just smile and say, "What are you going to do about it?" I felt powerless, humiliated, trapped. My friends begged me to leave. "Stay with me," Jenna said. "Just get out of there." But I couldn't, because leaving meant abandoning my home, my life, everything I'd worked for. And I refused to let him take that from me too. One night, I couldn't sleep. I went online, started researching immigration fraud, marriage fraud, USCIS investigations, and that's when I found it. A way out, a way to win. See, here's the thing about green cards obtained through marriage. They're conditional for the first 2 years. After 2 years, you have to file jointly to remove the conditions and get a permanent green card. Jointly. Meaning both spouses have to agree and sign. And if one spouse reports fraud, if they provide evidence that the marriage was a sham from the start, USCIS investigates. And if the fraud is proven, the green card gets revoked and the person gets deported. I stayed up all night gathering evidence. I downloaded our text messages, printed the WhatsApp conversations from his phone. I'd taken screenshots before confronting him. I gathered emails from his lawyer, financial records showing how he'd drained accounts, witness statements from friends who'd seen the red flags. I documented everything, every lie, every manipulation, every cold, calculated move. And then I called an immigration attorney. Not the one we'd used, a different one who specialized in fraud cases. I laid it all out. She listened, took notes. When I finished, she looked at me seriously. "If you do this," she said, "there's no going back. He'll be deported, possibly banned from re-entry for life." I didn't hesitate. "Good," I said. She nodded. "Then let's do this." I filed the report with USCIS, submitted every piece of evidence. And then I waited. Mateo had no idea. He kept living his life, arrogant and untouchable. But I knew. The clock was ticking. 2 months later, the letter came. Notice of investigation. USCIS was reviewing his case. He was furious. "You did this!" he screamed at me. "You reported me." "Yes," I said calmly. "I did." "You vindictive bitch," he snarled. "I'll destroy you for this." "You already tried," I said. "And you failed." He tried to fight it, hired a lawyer, claimed I was lying, that I was bitter, that the marriage had been real. But the evidence was overwhelming. His own words, his own texts. She thinks what I need her to think. USCIS didn't need much convincing. 6 months later, his green card was revoked. He had 30 days to leave the country. When the deportation notice arrived, I was there. I watched him read it, watched his face go pale. "You ruined my life," he said quietly. I looked at him. "No," I said. "You ruined mine. I'm just returning the favor." He left 3 weeks later, packed his things, didn't say goodbye. I stood in the doorway and watched him go, and when the door closed behind him, I finally breathed. The apartment felt different after he left, lighter, quieter, but also emptier. I thought I'd feel victorious, triumphant. Instead, I just felt tired. I spent the first few weeks cleaning, literally and metaphorically. I changed the locks, repainted the bedroom, threw out everything that reminded me of him. I closed our joint accounts, reopened new ones, in my name only. I went to therapy, finally. My therapist asked me how I felt. "I don't know," I said, honestly. "I thought revenge would feel better." "Revenge rarely does," she said gently, "but justice might." Maybe she was right. I started rebuilding, slowly, carefully. I reconnected with friends I'd neglected, took up hobbies I'd abandoned, focused on work. I went on dates, cautiously, guardedly. None of them went anywhere, but that was okay. I was learning to be alone without being lonely. It was hard, harder than I expected, because part of me still mourned what I thought I had, the fairy tale, the love story, even though I knew now it was never real. A year later, I got a message from Carla, the cousin. "Andrea, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I thought you should know. Mateo's back in Argentina, and he's miserable." I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to delete it, to not care. but I was curious. "What happened?" I typed. Her response came quickly. "He tried the same thing again, met another woman. She was from Spain. He thought he could use her for EU citizenship. But she found out before the paperwork went through. She reported him too. Now he's blacklisted, can't get a visa anywhere. He's stuck." I sat back. Karma. Real, undeniable karma. I didn't respond to Carla. I just closed the message and sat with it. For a long time, I'd wanted him to suffer the way I had. And now, knowing he was trapped, powerless, unable to manipulate his way out, I thought I'd feel satisfied, but I didn't. I just felt sad. Sad that people like him exist. Sad that I'd been naive enough to fall for it. But also grateful, because I'd survived, and I'd learned. 2 years after everything ended, I'm in a different place, literally and emotionally. I moved to a new city, started fresh, new job, new apartment, new life. I still think about him sometimes, about what happened, but not with anger anymore, just understanding. I don't blame myself anymore. That took the longest to learn. I didn't do anything wrong by loving someone, by trusting, by being kind. He did wrong. He chose to lie, to manipulate, to use me, and that's on him, not me. I'm dating again, carefully. I met someone recently. His name is James. He's kind, patient. And when I told him my story, because I needed to be honest, he didn't run. He just said, "That must have hurt. I'm sorry you went through that." And somehow, that was exactly what I needed to hear. I don't know if James is forever, but he's here now, and that's enough. Sometimes people ask me if I regret reporting Mateo, if I regret destroying his life, and the answer is no, because I didn't destroy his life. He destroyed mine, or tried to. I just made sure he faced consequences, and I'd do it again. I also learned something important through all of this. Revenge isn't about making someone hurt the way they hurt you. It's about taking back your power. And sometimes, the best revenge is just surviving, rebuilding, thriving, living a life so full and beautiful that the person who tried to break you becomes irrelevant, and that's where I am now. So that's my story. The story of how I was used for a green card. The story of how I fought back, and the story of how I survived. If you're going through something similar, if someone is using you, manipulating you, making you feel small, please hear me. You are not crazy. You are not overreacting, and you deserve better. Trust your gut, protect yourself, and don't be afraid to walk away. Or, if you're like me, don't be afraid to fight back. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, and remember, you are stronger than you think. Karma is real, and you will get through this. I'm Andrea, and this was my story.